Are people interested in your organization but not responding back to you? Are your inbound leads ignoring you? Will I stop zooming in? Keep watching to find out more. What's going on, guys? It's Fehed here from Sales Unveiled, helping slash through bit extreme all of the miscommunication around sales and side hustles, and giving you some practical advice you can use in your day-to-day roles. Inbound sales leads easily, and I mean easily, a godsend for a lot of us working in the sales industry. These are becoming more popular than ever, but that being said, our conversion rates aren't where they need to be for these. These are going to be the hottest leads that we receive as salespeople, so why are so many of us failing to convert them into general opportunities? They can't all be rejecting us, unless you're me, in which case they will. All too often then, our first touch point fails by falling into spam folders and people just not being aware of what it is that you offer as an organization, which, you know, is a major fail for working inbound sales leads. In this video, we're going to cover my experience sending out thousands, and I mean thousands, of inbound sales emails, what the elements of a good inbound sales email look like, template of what a good inbound sales email looks like using yours truly, unfortunately, as an example. We'll be scanning far and wide in the depths of my very own spam folder to give you some examples of what to avoid when writing an inbound sales email. Give you a couple of templates there as well. Now make sure you stick around to the end of the video because there is a bonus that you wouldn't want to miss. Now before we get started, it's worth mentioning that all of this content is around inbound emails specifically, so people already have an idea of what your organization does. If you're interested in finding out more about, video emails or sending out cold outbound emails, I'll link them somewhere here on the tile. Completely new to YouTube, so we'll figure out how to do that, but they'll be in the description as well down below. Have to make sure you're covered for all angles of sales, you see. So let's cut to the chase. All great inbound sales emails have 5 key things going for them. These include the subject line, the opening line, the give, the you are not alone. Sounds ridiculous, but it's true. And of course, where would any sales email be without the close? Stray too far from any of these 5 points and you're on a one-way trip to rejection time. So let's dive into a little bit more information about these 5 points. The subject line. So any good inbound sales email has a subject line, but there are a couple of things that most people miss out on them. First of all, you want to make sure it's short. There's actually a recent study that found that longer subject lines actually produce worse results. So you want to make sure that this is no longer than 4 words. Keep it short and to the point. Good inbound subject lines are also incredibly relevant to the people that they're reaching out to. So the best thing that I like to do with these is actually reference the content that made them aware of your organization. Let's say then, for example, that your recent inbound sales lead came through from a webinar that you held as an organization. It'd make a lot of sense then to reference this in the subject line. Definitely increase your open rate and show that you have a specific reason for wanting to reach out. The opening line. So what you want to do with this is keep it short, to the point, but also be relevant. One of the things that I like to do that works incredibly as well then for me is to actually reference the specific content and give your opinion on it. So if they recently attended a webinar and that's the reason why you have this inbound lead, give your opinion on the webinar, what you liked about it, and maybe ask for their opinion. This is going to get the conversation going and make them want to read on through the rest of your email. The give. So the give is something that I've recently been doing in my sales emails and it works a treat. Let's use an example. Let's say you recently received an inbound sales lead on the back of a webinar that your organization has held. Let's say it's a car showroom and the webinar was talking all about the 10 best electric cars for the future in 2021. Shows how much I know about cars. What you would do in the give section is you would reference the webinar, but then also say, if you like that, I think you would also like X. So maybe it would be a blog post talking about your own personal favorite electric car. This then allows you to give them further information before asking for anything later on. It'll make that a little bit easier. The you are not alone. No, this isn't a Michael Jackson song. Not sure if he's cancelled or not. You are not alone is a section which you would start sowing the seeds for the ask from the prospect. The best way to do this is name drop a couple of your clients, name drop the reason that they got in touch, and try to highlight some of the problems that you can solve. So the way I like to do it is by doing the following. John, when client name drop 1 and client name drop 2 attended the inbound reason for getting in touch with you, whether it's the webinar, content download, whatever it might be, it's because they're reviewing problem area. Doing this puts social pressure on your prospects. And if they see that they're not the only ones that are struggling with this problem, they're not the only one that attended the webinar, they're much more likely going to want to attend a call or have a further conversation with yourself. This also nicely sets up our next section, which is of course the close. So let's not overcomplicate the close. The only thing you need to do here is have one specific ask for your prospect. So what I like to say is, when would you be free for a 5-minute call? That works a charm. Don't get any more complicated than that. However, if you want them to take part in another area of the sales cycle, for example, attending a secondary webinar, ensure that you list that down below, but make sure it's just one clear step that they can follow. So now we have an idea how to structure a good inbound sales email. What are some other good elements that all good inbound sales emails have? Number one, keep it short. We make this mistake a lot as salespeople, and I'm not sure why, but we like to write massive essays about, the company's history in our sales emails, about, what we had for breakfast, Cocoa Pops, all of these kind of good things. But realistically, your prospects don't care about that stuff. Keep it short. Keep it to the point, and you'll be getting responses in no time. A good idea then is to keep it between 4 and 6 lines for best impact. 2, make it all about your prospects. We've said this a little bit before, but the simple fact of the matter is your prospects do not care about you, they care about themselves. And so the best way that you can serve them is by talking about them. One of the things that we can do specifically in outbound emails is do a little bit more research because we're reaching out to them. But that being said, there's nothing stopping you from doing a quick LinkedIn search of the prospect that you're reaching out to, trying to find something a little bit personal, trying to find any social media and making the conversation about them. You would drop this in the opening line, again, just to grab their attention a little bit more. But just make sure you please keep it about your prospects because like I said, they don't care about you. I do. Please like and subscribe. Ask deeper questions. So this is probably one of the biggest differences that you can do on inbound sales emails versus outbound sales emails. So for example, let's say if you've had someone who's come through to you through a demo request. I don't know why that took me that long to say. So they want a demo request, they're interested in what it is that you want, and they want to set up some time. If this was an outbound prospect, we'd be very nervous sometimes maybe to ask deeper questions, but with these ones, because they've already put in time with yourself, you can ask them things like, their budget, when they want to have something in place by, who else they're looking at, all these key questions that might not do from an outbound perspective. 4, avoid excess formatting. Guys, if you're putting 5,000 pictures in your emails and links to, I don't know, dodgy sites trying to sell you Bitcoin, if you know any, please let me know. It's not going to get an open rate. These are going to fall directly into your contact spam. So you want to make sure that you're doing right by them, making the email easy to read, but avoiding excess formatting. 5, link to the content that they downloaded. So this is a really, really important point. If you can take one thing away from this video, I would definitely do this. So in your email, in the opening line, when you reference the reason that they got in touch with you as an organization, whether it's a webinar, whether it was a content download, whether it was a demo request, whatever that might have been, please show them and please link to that individual thing. When people are often going to market to look at different products, they're doing this with, hundreds of different organizations, loads of your competitors. So it's very easy for these things to kind of get all scrambled up. By linking to this, it's going to clear you away from your competitors and reassure that you can actually solve the problem that they have. And finally, point 6, there you go, extra thumb on the hands, is to realize that it's a numbers game. Not every single inbound sales lead that comes through as a demo request or comes through as a content download or whatever it might be is going to convert into a decent conversation, which it does suck. However, we should be aiming for a much higher percentage of our inbound leads to convert than our outbound sales leads. To give you a good idea, what that is for yourself, you'd have to work out, but maybe I'll talk about what I try to do in that process in a different video in the future. So guys, we covered a lot of different content in the video today, but you still don't have a clear template about what to write on an inbound sales email. So I'm going to send myself an inbound sales email as though I was the prospect, yay me. We'll use the car sales room as an example. Maybe I attended a webinar about the top 10 electric cars for 2021, and we'll show you how I would follow up with that. And then what we'll also do is we'll go through my inbox and sort of have a look at some of the spam that I receive and see what we could do to improve upon that. Let's jump into it. I thought I'd just start off by talking through the email that I've drafted up here. Once again, the scenario is we've just received an inbound sales lead on the back of a webinar that we held, and we work for a car showroom, I guess I'm supposed to describe it. Okay, so sales line, remote working while electric. Hey Fehed, glad you could attend our top 10 electric cars for 2021 webinar. Definitely a fan of the Tesla Model S. Heard it's meant to be one of the fastest production cars ever built. If you like that, I think you're going to love our blog post talking all about the top 5 accessories every electric car needs. Fehed, when our clients like Company Namedrop 1 and Company Namedrop 2 have attended ACME CAR Company's webinars in the past, it's because they are looking at new car schemes for their employees. If this is the case for yourself, love to set up some time to discuss. When are you free for a 3-minute call? Best, Fehed. Right guys, it's time to break down the email and why I wrote it in this particular way. Starting with the subject line, remote working while electric. It's short, so it's no more than 4 words long, but it's also incredibly relevant to myself. Anyone who's done a quick Google of my name knows that I own a website called Remote Working Warriors, and this goes one step above and beyond and shows that, I would definitely be interested in reading this person's email if they're referencing something in my personal life. Hey Fehed, informal and still yet professional, so it's short and to the point. The opening line references the exact reason that they're getting in touch, so it's because of the webinar, and it also gives my opinion on something there as well, which is also incredibly important. You know, giving your opinion is valid because it seems a lot less templated. It shows that you have a bit more personality and can really help build a relationship there as well with the prospect. The give. So once this is done, you give an extra little bit of content that they might be interested in. In this case, it's the 5 accessories every electric car needs. This is going to be incredibly helpful because it could help them address any problems that they might have in the future, and can also set you up there for upselling if you do sell car accessories then, like this organization does. And then the you are not alone. Fehed, when our clients like Company Namedrop 1 and Company Namedrop 2 have attended ACME CAR Company webinar in the past, this is incredibly relevant for a couple of reasons. So let's say I'm the head of car schemes at, I don't know, Microsoft, and I see here that, I don't know, maybe our Company Namedrop 1 is Apple and our Company Namedrop 2 is Samsung, have attended these kinds of webinars in the past, and they're looking to build upon the car schemes for their employees. That makes us feel like we need to kind of do something because their competition is doing the same, and it can help address any potential problems that they might be facing. Because let's face it, if people are attending your webinars, they've signed up for a particular reason, and it's our job to kind of explore what these problems are. Once that's done, if this is the case with you, I'd love to set up some time to discuss when are you free for a 3-minute call. So this is very specific. It's one simple ask for them to kind of respond back to, and it just makes things a lot easier rather than kind of asking them 3 or 4 questions in the entire sales email. So in terms of the key takeaways here, number 1, minimal formatting. I've only bolded a couple of key things like the client names, and I've linked to sort of the case studies, and that's about, not the case studies, I've linked to the webinar and the additional content, and that's about it. It's a relatively short email. I mean, if we scroll up here, it's like what, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4.5 lines in total. And finally, 80% of this can be templated. I mean, aside from the subject line here, and apart from maybe giving your opinion on it, everything else in this particular email can be sort of templated from scratch, which will save you a lot of time when you reach out to your inbound sales leads there. So it's definitely one that I'm happy with. This is something that I typically do. And in terms of my response rate on this, I'd say I'm looking at anywhere between a 30 to a 50% response rate on the back of this one. It's worked out very, very well for myself. So remember when I talked about remote working warriors earlier on? So because I have a website, I'm often emailed with a lot of people trying to sell me services around, you know, SEO and link building and all these kinds of different things that might be a little bit black hat or grey hat. So I'm going to break down this email that I've received in my spam, and it's not one that I would actually respond back to for a couple of reasons. But that being said, if you've seen my other email that I went through last week on my outbound sales template emails, this is definitely better than that. I mean, it does some things that are pretty good. I mean, first of all, the formatting is okay. I mean, it's not exceptional, but it doesn't have any, you know, severe issues in terms of overly linking to particular things or having loads of images and all these kinds of things. That being said, there are a couple of major issues which we'll dive in. So let's start with Dear Remote Working Warriors. So number 1, it's very easy to see what my name is when you click on the website. It's just literally a case of seeing my name and just responding back to that. So this shows me that they've literally probably got this from an email subject line as opposed to just putting my name in, which is a simple enough thing. Opening line. I thought you might like to know why some of the reasons why you're not getting enough website hits / visitors and conversion. Number 1, all right, this is incredibly assumptive. This is assuming the fact that my website doesn't get visitors at the moment. It doesn't get conversions. I'm actually using the website to get conversions. So this is just a very broad general thing, which doesn't really work out in my favor. I mean, the website's traffic is performing actually pretty well. So they've kind of off to the wrong foot there. And there's no real way they'd be able to find that information out there as well. So it's just general, you know, throwing anything at the wall and sort of seeing what sticks. Number 2, I'm the SEO and digital marketing expert of a leading SEO service provider and company. As per my analysis, your website is not performing well in Google, Yahoo, Bing, and organic searches. Okay, so they've gone directly into them. They're talking about them. And like I said in the video, we want to highlight a little bit more about, you know, us. People are really interested in hearing more about themselves rather than them. So what I would maybe amend and what I would maybe change here is, instead of talking about them and what they do as an organization, I would maybe talk a little bit more about remote working seems to be increasing rapidly over the next couple of years. I think it's assuming something like 20% year-on-year growth. As such, more people are working from home, and your website is going to become more relevant to a lot of people. You know, saying something like that in the second paragraph or a following on from the first paragraph is going to be incredibly important. That would definitely get me to continue reading. Also, your traffic flow is poor from the last couple of months due to some of the reasons you might not know about recent Google updates like Phantom 3.0, Panda 4.0, Penguin 4.0. Okay, again, all of these things are assumptive. And if you think about it, nothing in this email so far is specific to me. Not one thing in this email is talking about my website in particular. And in fact, my traffic is going from sort of strength to strength, month to month. So in terms of these kinds of things, it just doesn't make a lot of sense at the moment, which is bad. Second of all, they're talking about the organization and they're talking about them, but they haven't actually specified, who they are, who they work for, what are their clients, what are the typical results that they give for their clients, any of those kinds of things, which should be in the latter part of an inbound email. But, with 3 paragraphs in and they still haven't done anything. Google has completely dropped all authorship functionality from the search results and webmaster tool, so be careful on it and use the help of this SEO company to fix it. Some of the aspects given below: due to poor unauthorized link sites, relevant keyword phrases are not visible on the first page settings due to HTML validations, errors warning in site. So this is just very computer focused kind of jargon, and again, it's hoping that one of these particular things sticks rather than actually doing a little bit more research about the site, and maybe, I don't know, maybe having a couple of screenshots here about, hey, I see that you've got this layout in this particular way. Might be worth sort of changing this up a little bit here to kind of do this. Area of improvement: we will give you first page ranking on Google, Yahoo and Bing. Improve your organic traffic and sales. So again, it's assuming that I'm selling anything on this website, which I'm not. If you will not be satisfied with results, we'll refund your money as a per money back guarantee. This is actually not a bad thing to kind of say in an inbound sales email. Whoop, there we go. This section here. However, all of this other stuff is kind of nonsense. So I'd maybe just leave this one here. No, we will give a guarantee to improve in your keyword ranking from first month itself. We failed to achieve their money back. So they've kind of said that twice again, which doesn't take that much time. We'll be optimizing your website and have major search engines like you. Okay, so they're saying the same thing again a couple of times, repeating the email. And again, for more details, please reply. We have 24/7 support, so you can contact us at any time with your website issues. So what's the call to action? What do they want me to do here? For more details, please reply. So they want me to reply, but that should be by itself. So we could definitely improve upon this email by doing a couple of quick tweaks. Number one, dear Fehed or hey Fehed, just use my name. That would be a lot easier. Number two, instead of talking about, some of the reasons why I'm not getting enough website visitors, don't make any assumptions. Talk about the website itself. Talk about the research. Talk about the way in which the remote working marketplace is actually increasing. For the second section, so for example, for the give, I would maybe give them a little bit more information around a statistic. So, hey, I'm not sure if you saw this statistic specific to home offices, but I think I found that like 5 out of 10 people are currently increasing or building a home office at the moment. Something that would grab my attention, and further that I could maybe use in a blog post as opposed to sort of selling your services, and then naturally build into it. I think an email that would be this size in total, that would be perfect. But if you just look at the length, it's just incredibly long. So overall, this email is too long. It's not specific to me. It's not specific to any of the things that I'm currently focused on at the moment. And it just looks like a cookie cutter template that's been blasted out to about 5,000 different people. Hopefully, where is it? Here we go. The email that I've come up with here is a little bit shorter, a little bit more to the point, and would definitely get you reading, even though it is an inbound template. Inbound email template, rather, that you would send that to a lot of different people. But yeah, we'll jump back into the video now, guys. Hopefully that's helpful, and we'll talk about the bonus. Bonus time. So you've managed to make it to the end of the video, which is fantastic. What I'm going to do is in the description down below, I'm going to write out the inbound sales template. Please do change your name because no one has a name as unique as Fehed Nikas. What we'll also do is I'll link down below to the outbound sales template. I know a lot of you guys are working purely outbound leads at the moment, and there is a big difference between writing an inbound sales email and an outbound sales email, so we'll take things from there. Please do like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are on the best inbound subject line that you inbound email subject line that you've received. Be a good one to get some ideas there as well. But yeah, if you're new here, I learn from you guys around sales and business techniques. You learn from me. We talk all about side hustles in the future there as well. So keep your eyes out on that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.